Good morning. Welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I'm Lisa Moore. I'm the intern minister here, and I'm joined today by Service Associate Pete Wernick, Tad and Emily Coriath, Pete and Joan Wernick, Melanie DeMore, and Emma's Revolution will be providing the music today, and our tech ushers, Bill Beachley and Deborah Mensch, who make things run amazingly smoothly. Our senior minister, Reverend Lydia Ferrante Roseberry, is on her well-deserved ministerial sabbatical through August 10th. And the most important people to mention are all of you, this fellowship, and all of the wonderful people you are. For you are the reason that we do any of it. As I say the welcome words today, I invite you to shift into gallery mode if you haven't done so already, and scroll through the screens so you can experience the lovely diversity of this congregation. Because without it and without you, there would be no us. You are all welcome here today in all the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, and sizes that come together in your uniqueness. You are welcome here. In all the ways you express gender, you are welcome here. And the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you make your living and the places you are from, you are welcome here. Christian, pagan, humanist, Jew, Buddhist, mystic, Muslim, Unitarian Universalist, questioning, or still searching. With all of the traditions that inform your spiritual life, and no matter where you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here today. No matter how long you are away, nor how soon you will return, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears, you are welcome here. You are invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you here today. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of all people. We acknowledge that we live in a time when Black, Indigenous, other people of color, and Latino, Latinx, Hispanic people are devalued, violated, and killed because of systemic racism. We also acknowledge that our community is located on the lands once stewarded by the Arapaho, Ute, Sioux, and Cheyenne peoples. Our congregation honors Indigenous legacy and respects the enduring relationship that exists between Indigenous peoples and their traditional homelands through our connections to Right Relations Boulder. We commit ourselves to becoming anti-racist in ourselves and our institutions by taking actions to dismantle racism in society, taking guidance from and while honoring the lived experience of those who identify as BIPOC, and developing personal relationships between cultures. Our vision is to help build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community within and beyond our walls. I have a plethora of announcements this morning. Welcome Strangers is a 21-minute award-winning documentary, and we will be showing it on March 12th or 13th. It tells the story of Casa de Paz, and it's an immigrant hospitality organization based in Denver, and founder Sarah Jackson and other people are going to be in this documentary. If you have any more information, please email Jean Nuttall. Her email should be in the chat. And also, please watch it before next week's service, because this will be some of the stuff that we will be talking about. Saturday, March 13th, Peter Mayer will be in concert. This is a fundraiser for High Plains Church, UU. And you can purchase tickets online. If you have any questions, you can contact High Plains Church, and the tickets for purchase is in the chat as well. Saturday, March 20th from 5:30 to 6:30, we will be hosting a family-friendly spring equinox celebration. This is led by Kelly Logodice, Scott Humans, Amy and Lavender Cole, Robin and Chris Rathweg, Ann Bridgens, Brian Kenyon, and Stephanie Schroeder. In addition to our coffee rooms, we have a couple other offerings after the service for, in the breakout rooms. You are invited to either meet with Julie McKenzie and David Burrows, who are hosting a video campus tour as part of our Inquirer series. So you can get a virtual tour of our fellowship. And also the Eco Justice Action 2021 Task Force is having a breakout room. They will be doing these on the first Sunday of the month, I believe through April or June. So you're invited to go and bring your ideas, issues, energy and questions. There are many other really nice announcements. If you can, check the Connections Weekly, so check your email box. Each Sunday is a little different here, so please come back a few times to really get to know us. If you want to get better connected, please see the chat window for the link to our first-time visitors page where you can get signed up for the Connections Weekly. You can also email your information to our office manager, Carol at officemanager@bvuuf.org. Her email will be in the chat window as well. And do be sure to check out the fellowship calendar and the Connections Weekly for all the opportunities we have to stay connected. Finally, if any of you newbies would like to introduce yourself in the chat, please do. We'd love to know who is among us. Again, you are all invited to stay for virtual coffee hour after the service or join one of the other offerings I just spoke about. I now invite us to hear a pledge testimonial by Mazia and talking about her pledge. Thank you.
Good morning, all. My name is Mazia Shitara, and I've been asked to share a bit about my journey into and with the fellowship. Being an introvert, saying yes was not easy for me. After deep consideration, I decided what better group to share with than this caring fellowship. So here I am, nerves and all. My husband and I moved back to Colorado after retirement at the end of 2013. We had lived in Boulder in the 70s and 80s. We moved to Wisconsin in 1984, where we lived for 29 years. The transition back to Colorado was really difficult for me, even though our 3 beautiful daughters and their families lived here. I just couldn't find my grounding, my sense of purpose, my community. And then Donald Trump was elected president, and I became more desolate, more outraged, and unsure how to proceed. I decided that I needed to find support. And thanks to my therapist and some dear friends, I learned about Reverend Lydia and the BVUUF. They encouraged me to check it out as a place where I might find what I was looking for. In all honesty, I was filled with great trepidation. I was not raised in or have ever been a part of a religious community. Even so, I always considered myself deeply spiritual. It actually took me another year to muster the courage to step foot into the fellowship. I sat in the back of the sanctuary and wanted to be unseen. I remember that first Sunday so clearly. I heard the welcome words and my heart burst open. My journey at the BVUUF had begun. I continued to quietly show up that year. Each Sunday, I would be greeted by very kind folks. I began to absorb the UU principles. I began to feel a sense of community and caring, and a growing awareness that the fellowship had a deep commitment to inclusivity and justice for all. I took the Path to Membership class and became a member in January 2019. Another big step for me was meeting with my steward, Jean Canella. I had no experience with pledging or what that meant in terms of myself and my relationship with the fellowship. Jean's kind heart and true desire to get to know me put me at ease, and I was able to have a heartfelt and open discussion with her about what pledging means, about being a member, a deeper understanding of what being in community and in being of service means. So here I am starting my 3rd year as a member. I still feel like a newbie. I wear several hats now: welcome team member, caring council member, co-chair of the Lay Pastoral Care Associates. I feel my roots growing. And as challenging as this past year has been, I feel as if I continue to learn and grow in the fellowship. And I'm eagerly awaiting the day, as we all are, to safely be together again in our new sanctuary. Thank you all for letting me share my story.
If you have a chalice at home, I invite you to light yours with me as I light our fellowship chalice. So we all know where we are. Could you please write in the chat, chalice lit in, and the name of your town? We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. And now I'll sing our bowl again, inviting you to draw deeper into the present moment and this, our beloved community.
This poem is from Reverend Gretchen Haley, This Promise That We Make. It starts here in this moment, in this breath. You feel rising in your chest, this beat building between us, the healing, the hunger, the hope, the courage, the calling, the commitment, the drawing out of a new day. It begins now, in the imagination, in this story we weave together, this song we sing, this prayer we bring into being from our hearts to our lips, from our hands to our life, our shared life. It starts here with praise and thanksgiving, forgiveness, and this humble centering, confession that we could be wrong. This promise that we make to keep learning, to keep trying, to keep our sense of humor, to keep close. This knowing that we are all in this together. Come, let us begin. Come, let us lift ourselves together. And now, please join in singing hymn number 157, Step by Step, whose words come from the preamble to the Constitution of the United Mine Workers of America. We'll sing it through 3 times.
Step by step, the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly not. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none. Step by step the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none.
When I first came to BVUUF about 30 years ago in the basement of the Masonic Hall in downtown Boulder, the trappings were humble, but there was a lot to pull me in. Catherine Harris's sermons and her leadership of the services were well honed and inspiring. And I remember being surprised and impressed by the quality of the services when Catherine was not there. What different members of the congregation delivered from the pulpit was thoughtful and well worth hearing. It struck me how challenging the demands on a minister must be. Besides the pastoral care responsibilities and many meetings, to come up with a good sermon every week, week after week. It's understandable if they need a breather sometimes, but then how do we, the congregation, make that possible? It's about having a support team. Most of our members are on one support team or another. All told, we have about 20 subgroups at BVUUF named committees or councils responsible for different duties at the fellowship. There are neighborhood connectors, the grounds committee, building committee, financial, auction committee, social justice council, school of the spirit, stewardship council, member engagement council, not to mention the committee on shared ministries, the board. The list is long. Our organizational chart is on our website and it's impressive. I recommend checking it out. It shows that BVUUF is a web with many strands of connection. In the case of our Sunday services, the support team is our intern minister, Lisa Moore, and the service associates, about a dozen of us. We all get chances to collaborate with Lydia and Lisa and with one another. We have monthly discussions as a group about upcoming services, and each week's service leaders consult with each other and with Tad and Deborah Mensch about the music. It's really a team effort. Teamwork is a challenge. Coordinating schedules, staying in communication, sharing information, making decisions. That takes extra attention, but there are good rewards. Spreading the work, benefiting from others' ideas and perspectives to make a whole greater than the sum of the parts. Having someone's help when you need it, and sometimes stepping up to do something you've not done before. When faced with a new task, a natural reaction is to say, but I've never done that before, and there might be a bit of fear. But when you finally decide to step up, it turns out it is possible, especially if there's help from your teammates. So having the commitment of a group behind you as you step into unfamiliar territory is a great gift, something that comes with a good community. Our theme in the month of March is commitment. Commitment comes in many different forms. Sometimes it's specifically worked out and arranged, and sometimes it's just there, silent, ready to be called upon. You may not hear about or know about somebody's commitment, but that doesn't mean it's not there. When it is there, you never know what kind of support might show up. Here is an old traditional folk song that celebrates commitment, sung by me and my wife Joan, Pretty Fair Maid in the Garden. Pretty fair maid out in the garden, strange young man came riding by. Down by the gate he did address her, saying, pretty little miss, won't you marry me? Oh no, my love's out on the ocean, 7 years out on the sea. And if he says 7 years longer, no man on earth will marry me. Perhaps your loved one he has drowned, or else he's in some foreign land. Perhaps he's found some girl to marry. You'll never see your love again. Well, if he's drowned, I hope he's happy. Or if he's in some foreign land, and if he's found some girl to marry, I love the girl that married him. He took his hands out of his pockets, his fingers being lean small. Here is the ring you placed upon him, down by his feet she did fall. He picked her up in arms so tender, kisses he gave her 1, 2, 3. Here is your little simple sailor, returning home for to marry thee.
That was amazing. Thank you, Pete. For the Reflection for Connections Weekly, I put in a blurb about congregational polity, which, while it may not at the surface feel very spiritual or reflective, really gives us an inkling into one of the main tenets of our congregation of our religious faith, the idea that as a Unitarian Universalist, we have some agency around what we do and what we create in our religious community. I'm going to share a quote by Reverend Victoria Safford, which might feel a little bit more reflective about that. We are bound by covenant, each to each and each to all, by what theologian Rebecca Parker calls freely chosen and life-sustaining interdependence. The central question for us is not, what do we believe, but more, what do we believe in? To what larger love, to what people, principles, values, and dreams shall we be committed? To whom, to what are we accountable? In a tradition so deeply steeped in individualism, it becomes a spiritual practice for each of us to ask these questions, not once and for all, but again and again. The life of the Spirit is solitary, but our answers to these questions call us to speak, call us to live in the plural. So last week, we sent Reverend Lydia off on a well-deserved and much-needed sabbatical. We wished her well. And we said, we've got it covered. And when I say we, honestly, I mean you. Because of congregational polity, the people within the congregation are the church. You are the ones that have agency around what you do, and you are the ones who call a minister when you are ready. As a minister, we are here to support you on your spiritual journey. We will help you through processes thick and thin, joys and sorrows. But the church, the heartbeat, is yours. In some words that always echo in my head when I think of this, you got the power. Bump, 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 bump. Anyway, I digress, but you do have the power. And yes, we do have a tendency to be independent and we want to hold on to our individualism. But as a religious community, we are needing each other to fill these gaps and bring us forward. We all have different types of ministry. I am called to deepen my religious calling, to practice my spiritual disciplines deeper as a source to lead you on that part of your journey. And that's not the call for everybody, and that's great. Some people are called to do spreadsheets. Other people are called to be on board of trustees. Some of the other committees and councils and volunteer work that needs to be done. People do woodwork and bring beautiful pieces of wood art into our congregation. I've seen knitting and crocheting. I've seen people come in and clean and check supplies, all the different things. And when we are finally back in to our ship, as it were, underneath the nice big roof, that I will imagine I will see a lot more people practicing a type of ministry that is unique for them and valued in the congregation. There's finance, there's hosting. You have so many different opportunities, and it's all ministry. As Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, you all are getting it right often, a lot. Some of the ways that I see you getting it right is the way you communicate and are willing to be in hard conversations and stick them out until it is time and there is something that feels better. Maybe not perfect, maybe still uncomfortable, and better. And knowing that we still have the process to move forward. You know how I have seen people willing to step forward and step back, and it seems it is even, to my understanding, written in your bylaws that people get breaks from leadership. So those serving on Committee on Shared Ministries, Leadership Development Council Committee, Board of Trustees are not always required and actually requested to step back and let somebody else go into that position. Your pledge generosity is amazing. Right now, you're at almost 60% of your goal. So far, you've raised $280,494 for your pledge this year, and that's from 95 pledgers. The pledge goal is $489,740. That's a lot of money, and you are showing up and creating that space. And there is grace for those who sometimes can't help. We all know that last year, 2020, and the beginning of this year has been a little bit of a hot mess with COVID. And we realize that there is space for some people to say, I need to take a step away from this. I can't help right now financially. And that's okay. There are others here who are willing to move this forward, knowing that in some way, shape, or form, those who might not be able to help financially also have gifts. Somebody might say, right now is a bad time for me. I have too much work, too many responsibilities, 3 jobs, single parent. There's a lot of different reasons, or maybe just somebody's exhausted or having some other issues that we might not know. And you, in your grace, give them space to work through that. And you also learn that the gift that they might give, while it might not be financial or they might not have the time, is the gift of learning grace and compassion. And knowing that as a community, we are bigger than ourselves. You have strong lay leadership, and you have amazing small group ministries. When I look at the calendar and I try to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm often trying to go through and look at all the small group meetings that are happening. And I also notice in the chats how much you thank and appreciate each other. You post that and share that. It'll be wonderful to hear it again when we are all underneath the same roof and hear it with your own ears instead of seeing it typed. I'm looking forward to that. And the lay pastoral care associates who create smaller communities within our community to sustain each other and support each other when we need it, and give our gifts of ministry, cookies, coffee, dog walkings, picking up groceries. Those are just a few of the things I've heard in my short time here. You have the Boulder Valley Community Action Network, helping people and making connections in the area for those who have mental health differences, who dance in a different way from the rest of us. And you've made connections within the community to help foster those and help people who have learning differences, neural divergences, and mental health issues. There's the Social Justice Council, under which there's eco-justice. There's work to dismember anti-racism. I could go on for probably a good hour on all the ways you are doing ministry. It's amazing. I get to look at all these faces, smiling, not smiling, sleeping, getting coffee, knitting. I am so blessed and so fortunate. So while the cat's away, we're going to play. And maybe not play quite the way you think of with balls of yarn, tossing them back and forth, or pulling down the curtains, or knocking over the Christmas tree. Maybe not the play of soccer, but that could happen. I noticed that today for the School of the Spirit, the junior high youth, I believe, are getting together to play Minecraft. And what a blessing to be able to do that and play in a spiritual community. But the other type of play is the work that you're already doing. And when you view it through the lens of play and of it being your ministry and the gifts that you bring to this congregation and to this religion, it's even more special. Now, Lydia did mention a couple things that she would like us to play with. One of the first and foremost is our movement on inclusion and anti-racism work. I know that some of us have signed, or some people have signed up for the Beloved Conversations work. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about it from those people. We have to keep having the hard conversations and keep showing up. I'm always amazed, maybe not always, but I am amazed and again, profoundly grateful to see the congregation step up and help support the formation of the Mountaintop, which is the BIPOC space created for the Metro Denver area and also the larger BIPOC community. Those are things that are important. And if Lydia is here or Lydia is not here, and eventually sometime when Lydia leaves and retires and you have another minister, this work doesn't stop. Take a breath, fill your soul, and continue on. It is part of all of our ministries. Many of us are getting vaccinated, seeing light at the end of the tunnel to get our vaccinations ourselves, feeling, I don't know, a sparkly little bit of excitement that we might be able to gather soon under our roof of our new ship that's been built and waiting for us to come back. So some of the things that we need to look at are planning on how it's going to look as we move in to the building. We have the COVID preparedness team keeping an eye on things and making sure that we have the space and that we can do it right so that we don't risk our beloved congregants or anybody else in the community that might join us under that roof. Also, things will never be the same. They never are. How will it look when we do move and have services there? And there are people who might not be able to attend the services physically, but still would like to participate. How do we create a space that's more inclusive for everybody? Those are some things to consider. Anybody has ministry in human resources, there needs to be some reviews of to create more human resource equity per the Unitarian Universalist Association guidelines and recommendations. Again, I've seen so much generosity here, but we have to meet. But it's a place where we need to keep moving and getting closer so that the people that serve here do get paid a fair and living wage and something that is equitable. Oh, the joys. Google shared drives. This is not my ministry. And I know that it is something that needs to be created and worked on so that it is easier to access for those people in leadership positions and those people working on all the different communities or committees and councils, so that there is easy access to documents that need to be used and written on. And then finally, this is an ever-changing and organic religious community. And with that, those wonderful organizational charts that Pete talked about will also need to be looked at as things change and shift. I realize it is difficult to take an amorphous 3 or 4 dimensional entity and put it onto a 2D somewhat piece of paper or computer screen. But it's something to start considering and looking at a lens of how we can make that happen. You've got the power. You have ministry in your own hearts and your own skills. Everybody's a little different. And yet we're all here together to create something bigger than all of us and more beautiful than all of us as an individual. I look forward to accompanying you on your spiritual journey, especially for these next 4 months as I'm full-time, and for the following year, part-time again, and just digging a little deeper and staying focused and sharing my ministry with you. Thank you. Blessed be, and amen.
Thank you, Lisa. Each week, we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving a half of our collection plate away to different organizations that share our values. Today, we give our half plate to Imagine. Imagine provides services designed to incorporate people with developmental, cognitive, and physical challenges into the fabric of their communities. Services include educational and therapeutic services, job training and placement, recreation and leisure activities, opportunities for community living, behavioral health services, technology solutions, and support for families. Please give generously to both Imagine and to our fellowship. After you've made your donation, please post in the chat what your ministry is at BVUUF, Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship.
Wow. I'm looking at all the chats and almost starting to get weepy. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. Now I'm going to invite us into our time of community connection and our time of sacred sharing. If you'd like to share a joy or concern, please raise your hand by clicking reactions at the bottom of your screen. Look behind the More tab if you don't see it, and then clicking raise hand. And Tech Usher Deborah will unmute you. Or you might see a pop-up window asking you to unmute yourself. If you prefer, you can share your joy or concern in the chat window by sending a chat to everyone, and then I will read it out loud. I will read out loud what you send. When you do share, whether by voice or chat, please tell us your name and where you live and briefly let us know what is in your heart today. And I'll put a stone in our sacred waters on your behalf. Blessed be. Dear ones, even though times can sometimes feel hard and we can still feel alone, we are together, gathered in community with love and abundance to share, to accompany each other when there's hardness and illness, and to accompany each other when there's joy and hope. Remember that we are all interdependent and connected with each other. And while sometimes we might be journeying by ourselves, there is still the spirit of others and connection that can surround us and help carry us forward. Blessed be, and amen. And now I'm going to invite you to sing along with Keep On Moving Forward.
Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Sigamos adelante, siempre adelante, siempre adelante, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Amaremos con pasión. Siempre con pasión. Siempre con pasión, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna reach across our borders, reach across our borders, reach across our borders. Never turning back, never turning back. vivamos sin fronteras, siempre sin fronteras, siempre sin fronteras, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna reunite the family, reunite the family, reunite the family, never turning back, never turning back. Familias reunidas, siempre reunidas, siempre reunidas, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, never turning back, 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 never turning back.
Peace.
We love you.
We extinguish the chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, nor the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Our closing benediction is from Reverend Kimberly Quinn Johnson. The first and last lines are the words of June Jordan in Poem for South African Women, which she presented at the UN on August 9th, 1978. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in the future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Amen. Blessed be. And thank you.